What's up, guys? Justin here with TheSketchUpEssentials.com. So SketchUp has released a new feature allowing you to import Gaussian Splats into SketchUp. Let's go ahead and just jump into it. Okay, so you can find out more about the Gaussian Splats by visiting this forum post, which I will link to in the notes down below. And basically, this just talks about kind of like the way that the whole thing works, what's available, that kind of thing. This is technically still a labs feature, but it's in kind of like public labs, meaning that everyone can download it and give it a try. This is actually a really interesting function, and I'd love to hear from you, like if you would consider using these, like how would you use them? They're super interesting, but I'm trying to figure out how I would work them into my workflow. Basically, what a Gaussian Splat is it's a collection of images, and you can actually, when you download the Gaussian Splats extension. So when you download this and install it, you can then go into this button right here, the Gaussian Splatting Manager, and there's some sample splats. So I recommend the living room splat right here because it gives you just like a really good idea of what's going on. You can go ahead and just minimize this for right now. But basically what a Gaussian splat is it's a 3D model created by a bunch of images, right? And you can capture these using apps on like your iPhone or your iPad, or I think there's Android tools as well. One thing to note about this, by the way, is I don't think this is currently working on Mac, unless I'm reading that forum post wrong. It seems like it's a PC only at the moment. So just be aware of that. I mean, you might try testing it, but I think that it's PC only. And so basically what you do is you download an app that can create these. So like Scanverse is one, there's others as well. And then you can import these into SketchUp, and you can see how they're made up of these little these little spheres, right? And so basically this is a whole bunch of images in here that are making up kind of a 3D shape. And you can see as you fly down kind of at the bottom of these, kind of where those splats are. So it's not really like a mesh, right? If you look at this, and I don't think hidden geometry shows anything because this isn't actually geometry. This is a whole bunch of points in space. But what you can do is you can use this in order to generate an accurate model of a space, at least to a certain point. I don't think this is going to be like laser precise or anything like that, but accurate enough to visualize a space. And then you can come in here and you can make adjustments in order to make changes. And so there are a number of tools in here designed to help you kind of work with this. So like, for example, notice how you can hide the splat completely, or you can bring the splat in at different opacity levels just by clicking on the buttons right here. So if you do need to kind of like see through this or something like that, there's options in here for that. Now there are also options in here to set your picking priority. Okay, so these options dictate if SketchUp snaps to native SketchUp elements over the Gaussians right here. So if you want to snap to your SketchUp elements, you can do that by clicking on this option right here. If you want to be more like snapping to the Gaussian splats themselves, then this is going to set that it's going to give priority to the splat itself. Now you do have other options in here. So like, for example, if you've got this, because notice if you click in here, like you can't really select this splat file, right? It just kind of lives in the SketchUp space as kind of something else, not as geometry. But you do have the option, if you click on the move button right here, then you can click and move it around inside of the space as well as rotate it. So if you do bring something in and it isn't completely flat or something like that, this is going to give you the ability to kind of like align and rotate those elements. Now, the other options in here are a little bit more interesting. So like, for example, the crop, what that's going to do is that's going to give you kind of a scale box in here. And so say that you wanted to crop something out, what you do is you click and drag this box over like so, and then you click out of the element, and notice how that's now going to be cropped out of here. So if you do have a portion of your Gaussian that needs to be cropped out, you can do that using the crop function right here. And so in this case, we would probably want to crop this up so we don't have all this extra stuff down below like this. And if we click back out of here, notice how this looks a lot better. So that's definitely something that you'll find a use for. And then you do have other options in here too, like aligning it with your axes, scaling the Gaussian. So if it needs to be scaled so that something is a certain length, you can pick 2 points. So I'm going to click from here to here, and then say this needed to be a different size, like 24 inches or something like that. You could use this in order to rescale that Gaussian. And so I think the scale is going to be more if you do something like bringing in something like this plant or something like that. So if you've got a Gaussian splat of a plant right here, which by the way, I can take this and I can move it around. So you can use this to generate more like objects as well. So that's actually a perfectly valid way of creating objects that are going to sit in your model. So if you had like a table or something like that, you could drop this on top of it. I think the scale function is going to be more helpful for something like that, right? So if I measure between this side, and the snapping is a little bit funky on this one, so you just kind of have to do your best. But if I click between these two elements right here and I wanted this to be smaller, I could just scale it down like so. So I think that's more where you're going to use the scaling. And so you do also have an option in here to select portions and subparts. So like for example, say that I just wanted the sofa in here, I could go into this top-down view and click across this object right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the option for copy selection as new entity, right? And so now if I look in my Gaussian splatting manager, I've got this extracted piece right here that's separate. So now I've got this sofa in here that I can use. So you can select parts of your model like this. You can also, if we go back in here and we select a part of the model, so we're going to do the same thing again. We'll just go into top-down view right here and click across this. You can also remove a portion. So if I click in here like this, right, we're going to cut that out, right? So now that's an extracted element. Well, what that means is that that element is now gone. And if we wanted to come in here and model something else on top of this, like so, we could put something else in that space. Now you have to be a little bit careful with this, obviously, because it can leave some gaps, but this does give you a way to take those splat files and actually like edit and adjust them. Okay, so one thing I wanted to show you is how we can use an app to create a splat. And so I'm using the Scaniverse app. There are a bunch of other apps as well, but this is basically me taking a video using my iPad of a space that I was in. So it's just the kitchen of a vacation cabin. And so what you do is you click on the record button and then you just move around the space. And notice how you can see as you start moving around the space, this starts showing you kind of a blurred version of the space that you're in. And then as you take the photos, it kind of clears up the space. And so what you can do is you can use the app in order to kind of like paint in the spaces using your camera, right? You want to move your camera around and walk around the space and take images from all the different angles until there's nothing blurry in the space anymore. And so there's no like rocket science to this or anything like that. You're literally just walking around and you're scanning the space. And so you can see I'm kind of like moving this up and down in order to make sure that I'm picking up all of those different areas. You do want to make sure as you're doing this that you're getting the different areas from different angles as well. So the more angles you get this from, the more accurate your scan is going to be. And so you're just going to kind of move around in the space until nothing is blurry anymore. So I won't make you watch me do the whole thing, but that's kind of the process. And then once you're done, you can click on the stop button and it's going to ask you if you want to process. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the option for process new. And we'll go ahead and we'll say not now on the save raw data, and we're just going to process this image. And notice how while you're doing this, you can kind of like fly around the 3D space and see what you've captured. So I'm just kind of like pinching and zooming and moving my fingers around on the screen, and it's kind of zooming in and out. And so what it's going to do is it's going to process all of this into a file that you can then share. And so we'll go ahead and let this finish processing, and then we'll come back and take a look at our options. Okay, so then we're just going to click on close after the processing is done. So you don't need to post to map. This app wants you to post things to the map, but you don't have to. So you can just click on the close button. And then once you do that, you can go down and you can click on the library function. You can find this and you can tap on it, and it's going to open up the splat that you created. And then once you open up the splat, you can fly around it by just dragging and then pinching to zoom if you want to do that. There's also a cool feature in here for measure. So if you click on measure and then tap on points, you can actually measure lengths, which is really cool considering this was created without any advanced sensors. It's literally just using photo data in order to create this model. But what we want is we want the option on the right for share. And so you want to click on share, and then you want to click on the option for export model, and we're going to export a PLY. And I save this to a Dropbox. You can save it wherever you want. You just need to put it on your computer. So you could put it in your iPad storage or whatever. But the key is you need to get that PLY file from the app over onto your computer so you can open it up in SketchUp. And so what we want to do is we want to take our splat file and we want to bring it in to SketchUp. So to do that, you're just going to click on this button right here to go into the manager, and you're going to look in the option for browse to upload. Now, I've been exporting all of my files as PLY files from Scaniverse. That allows me to bring them in. But if I click on the browse, okay, and so now if I take this kitchen file and I load it in here, and then what it's going to do is it's going to pop up a configure window that you can use in order to make sure that your splat is oriented the proper way, that it's in the right location, everything like that. So it's got options for cropping parts of your splat, as well as doing things like fixing the orientation. So in this case, we're going to need to do a little bit of switching. So what we're going to do here is we're going to click on the option for the swap Y and Z axes, and then we need to click on the option to invert the Z axis so that this is facing the proper direction, right? So we'll click on swap Y and Z axes, and then we'll click on invert Z axis right here, and then it's going to be oriented the proper way. Now, if you look at this kitchen file, you can see that it's actually been brought in the right orientation. So you basically use this configuration function in order to align and position. So in this situation, I'm fine with my current model axes, so we can kind of skip the align function right here. We don't really need to scale it because it should be brought into real world, and then we can position it. So I'm going to bring the floor up using the move function until it aligns with the ground, and we'll just get it close. For right now, that's probably good enough. And if we take a look at this, I think we're in good shape, so we can do a finish and save. And I think we're in good shape, so we can do a finish and save, and we're just going to call this kitchen. And notice what it does is it saves this as a SKLAT, right? A SketchUp splat, so a sklat. Right here, if I click on save, that's something I can now access in the future and I can import in. So that's something we can definitely do in here. Now, one thing that we might want to do is there's some elements in here that are blocking the model, right? And you can kind of see them right here. And I don't know how well this is going to work, but we're going to try it. So right here in this space, I've got a little bit of element right here. That's actually probably going to work great. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to extract that, and then I'm going to toggle it off, right? So I've just taken a piece of the splat in there and extracted it as something else so that it's not blocking my camera view anymore. And we can do the same thing over here, right? So we're just going to take this element right here. We're just going to drag and click, and then we're going to extract that as well and toggle it off. And so what that does is that's given us a really nice image of our kitchen in here. And now we can actually like work with the kitchen or do whatever we want. And we'll go ahead and slide the default model out of the way right here. But now I've got this kitchen in here and I can like visualize things that are on it, right? So like, for example, if I wanted to add elements on top of this counter, I could just click in here and I could start adding elements like this. So we've got this kind of nice visualization of a space, and it's not perfect, right? So I probably could have taken more photos or something like that, but for just like a quick visualization of a three-dimensional space created by photos, I think this did a really good job. Okay, and then a couple other things to be aware of. So if you go into the display settings right here, you can set the mode that's shown in here. So you can set this rendering mode to have the best rendering quality, or you can go to modeling mode, which is going to be a lot lighter. So that's going to allow you to fly in here, but it's going to be like super light. You can kind of see the individual splats in here a lot more. Then there's also a point cloud mode that's going to be even faster. It's just going to give you like general points inside of this space like this. All right, so that's where I'm going to end this video. What I'm really interested in here is hearing from you if you would use this tool and what you would use it for. I don't think I'm going to use it a ton, but I'd love to hear from you in the comments down below. Would you use Gaussian splats and what are you going to use them for? I just love having that conversation with you guys. As always, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this, and I'll catch you in the next video. Thanks, guys.